I go to schools upon schools and I speak with the students. And when I finish speaking with them, I'll say, do you have a question for me? No hand goes up. A hand is just to go up. In all my encounters in Ghanaian classrooms, we have tamed the children.
This is the viral video of the Education Minister of Ghana. And I mean, his message, the point he's making is so clear. And this is, again, consistent with something I've been talking about for years. I've been screaming about the fact that the school system, it simply just requires children to just fall in line. I've written papers and just check the description box for this video. You will see the links to a lot of stuff I've written over the last 15 years on this. And I've acted out. I've written a white paper that got me invited by the Ministry for Education, the Commissioner for Education, arrange for her officers to meet with me and to arrange for a meeting between myself and the chairman of the Parents Forum regarding what I was saying about incorporating, all right, getting parents to incorporate the learning of vocational skills along with formal academic schooling, and not leave it as something they could do later on, maybe after closing of school and all of that. Make it a part of life, of school life for the kids, whether if it is when they come home or whether it is when they're in school. There should be a way to make it so that the children understand it's just as important as academic learning, because the book learning we're emphasizing is not in the best interest of the children, and it's certainly not in the best interest of the society. Now, one of the things that's been done is, because the teachers want to make their jobs very easy, they don't want stress. Many of them actually don't have a passion for teaching, so they don't really want difficult children, all right, and they don't want to have to work extra hard to get the message through to all the kids. They just want to run through the class and then go and do what they need to do. Because of that, they've actually made the children become so docile. That's why you see the children are so conformist when they come out from the school system. They don't even know how to ask questions, challenge things, challenge thinking, or think differently. Okay, so they just become like what Robert Kiyosaki described as mindless parrots. That's why what this minister is complaining about here is happening. Now, it's good that a minister is the person that's seeing this, and hopefully he can pass a message that will lead to a change in the system, though I doubt it very much because I think it's systemic. But I want you to listen to him, all right? And then afterwards I'll come back and I'll say a few more things.
I go to schools upon schools and I speak with the students. And when I finish speaking with them, I'll say, do you have a question for me? No hand goes up. A hand is just to go up. In all my encounters in Ghanaian classrooms, we have tamed the children. We just want them to write down what we tell them. At the day of exams, they should put down what we have told them. We say, you are the best student the country has ever known. That kind of education system will not transform Ghana. That kind of education system is not going to give us critical thinking individuals, especially since we are in the 21st century and education 4.0, the fourth industrial revolution. You can't memorize your way out of poverty, but you can critically think and innovate out of poverty. So Ghanaian schools, Africans will have to begin to take a serious look at what I call the assertive curriculum. A curriculum that empowers the African child to ask questions and challenge the status quo respectfully within the African cultural context. But not a curriculum that tells the African child to be quiet and don't say anything when the adult is speaking.
Now, the truth of the matter is that we all know that over the last few years, we've been seeing an increasing number of young people, not so young people, who are creating and innovating without necessarily having the quote-unquote academic background or training to do it. We've been seeing videos of people, young people who are building planes that can fly, toy planes that can fly, there's this young boy that's built a robot, using cardboard or carton or something, and pens and ink, and so many other examples like that. We have a lot of young people who are venturing into areas where they just on their own just tinker with the thing, just the same way we heard so many people in the old days would venture. I mean, look, Thomas Edison didn't even study anything in any school, so a lot of what he was supposed to have done was based on just hands-on practice. We have all over society in Nigeria mechanics and all kinds of tradesmen who do not have any formal exposure to academic schooling. Most of them just learned by trial and error. They just apprenticed under some other boss who himself was not exposed to Western style of education, who himself just learned by doing and making mistakes and all that over time till they perfected their skills, and then became people that were offering solutions for car owners. That's why 99%, I would say, of the people who are mechanics today, it's not something that's considered to be a field in which people that went to school want to go into. Yet in other parts of the world, we have people who are automobile engineers who are women, and you see them in overalls, they dress and they operate very professionally, and you pay them professional fees. But in Nigeria, we look down on such things. Welding jobs are handled by people who don't have any academic qualifications per se, and yet they are the ones that do those jobs. Meanwhile, in the UK, a welder gets paid so well that he lives much more comfortable than people who are university degree holders here. I know, because I work with expatriates from the UK who told me that what they saw us doing with welders, getting them to come in at the slightest excuse, was ridiculous. Because if they try, one of my bosses told me if he tried doing that in the UK, he would go bankrupt, because the welders were highly paid professionals. So the point is, and the same thing applies to woodwork experts, all right, people who are into so-called carpentry, those kinds of skills. We look down on them here, and we let only those people who don't have access to academic or formal schooling, those are the people that go into it. It tends to be like the last option for them. And yet, in other parts of the world, people with such skills are the ones that actually move the economy forward. Entrepreneurial skills themselves are, again, things that people don't need to go to school to learn. That's why Richard Branson dropped out from secondary school at the age of 16 and started a business and became a multi-millionaire, billionaire indeed, even though he never went back to school. So there is something we're missing. And these videos, okay, the one in which the Ghanaian minister was complaining about the attitude of students, and the one in which you're going to listen to next, all right, they just capture everything you need to know. I want to point out in addition here that if we were ever to really see proof that the Western style of education, this formal schooling system, is not really designed to empower our youths and our population, it's evident from the fact that when you look at the people who are products of that system, do you not notice that most of them are very theoretically inclined and very unwilling to really do anything on a practical level? I mean, the one that is implemented here, not the one that's implemented in Europe. We must understand there's a difference. What they do in their society is not what they designed for us here. What we are doing here is a carryover from what the colonialists left for us. And it was designed, as you will hear in the video that you're going to listen to at the end of this clip, was designed to keep us at the theoretical level and to cut us off from our practical instincts. So this arrangement is such that when the child comes out of the school system, the desire to do hands-on stuff, to engage in practical vocation, is more or less killed, and there's so much preoccupation with theoretical endeavors, which quite often just have to do with memorization and recall of what is memorized. You see, that is why we have a lot of graduates of engineering who do not create and innovate and invent anything. Then we have the guys who didn't go to school at all, whose minds had not been limited by the exposure to the conformist system in the school, the conformist school system. Their minds have not been, restricted. They are the ones that are still free thinking and therefore capable of engaging in critical thinking. They are the ones that are able to explore the trial and error world of repairing stuff, building stuff, creating stuff, innovating stuff, and inventing stuff. That is the difference. That's why you see that a lot of people, you keep hearing dropouts. Why come is these dropouts that keep building and inventing things and creating things, while the ones that went to school just seem to be dead upstairs? It's because the school system kills creativity, as Sanker Robinson said in his viral TEDx video. That's the reason, and we need to acknowledge that. And as parents, it's up to you, not the school owners. The school owners don't owe you any obligation. You as a parent need to take action on behalf of your child, all right, to design a custom education system. That's what my paper is talking about, all right. As you're speaking, I believe I should be able to insert some screenshots from my paper, and even if I don't, just go into the description box, you will see all the links there. Check it out. I've been talking about this for over 15 years, but right now it's becoming so glaring that this is a message that's badly needed, and there's so much evidence of it all around us. If you love your children, you take heed, make necessary corrections before it's too late for them. So the challenge is to parents. Now I'm throwing this challenge to you as a parent, to do what I am doing and what I've been screaming about for a long time. I'm going to put links in the description box for this video. Just go down below the title for you to see, watch videos in which I talked about the invitation I got to the Ministry of Youth and Social Development in 2018, and then later on, I think it was 2021, to the Ministry of Education at their annex in Akoka, where I was an arrangement was made for me to meet with the chairman of parents forums, and I discussed with the chairman. I told him anyway my thoughts about the ideas that I put in my paper that I sent to the Commissioner for Education, which had to do with saying that schooling is a means to an end and not an end in itself. And I wanted people to know that what I was doing with my kids was something that every parent would be well advised to do, which is begin to empower your children with vocational skills exposure, not just hands-on vocational skills by way of traditional vocational skills, maybe hairstyling, fashion design and things like that, but also intellectually in the area of coding, because that's something that everybody can learn. They're different, and the transcribing is a skill. To become a transcriptionist is an area, it's a career path you can pursue. To become an Excel VB developer like me, I'm a transcriptionist and I'm an Excel VB developer, and I earn significant income doing those two things. And that's in addition to other skills I have. Now the thing is, these are digital skills that allow me to stay in one place and to make money, not run around the place carrying a piece of paper around as a qualification. I hope you listen, I hope you learn. Please watch the video. I wish you well.
They realized that if we take away Africans from practice and move them to theory, we will be creating a labor force for ourselves. So they brought a school system which did not promote thinking, but promoted remembering.
Say that again.
The video you're about to watch clearly identifies the root cause of the poverty afflicting Africa today, especially our habit of looking to other races for solutions. Example, loans, cures, vaccines, ideas, etc. Watch the video and you'll see what I mean. But let me just give you some background perspective against which to reflect on it. The ancient Africans, our ancestors, were thinkers and philosophers. The white people back then used to visit ancient Egypt, Kemet, to learn from our priests, who also doubled as scholars in the temples. It's a known fact that our ancestors designed the civilization the white people built on today. They learned from us astronomy, the arts, sciences, mathematics, medicine, philosophy, agriculture, writing, etc. Those were the results, however, of thousands of years of creative critical thinking and the study of nature to harness it for productive purposes by our ancestors, the ancient Africans. That was how they created the civilization the white people built on. Our ancestors were practical-minded thinkers and philosophers. The white guys came and learned everything from us, and then turned around to enslave us in a way that made us lose that important hands-on, practical-minded approach to living that had made our ancestors successful. To illustrate, the European museums till this day showcase amazing artifacts like the Benin bronzes, handmade by our ancestors, which the whites openly admit attest to craftsmanship superior to theirs at any point in time. If it was inferior, they would not be worth preserving in their museums. What you're going to hear in this video is a narration of the strategy used by the white people to make us lose that great ability. If we're to go back to being the kind of people we were when we first ruled on this planet, we have to return to our original practical thinking and doing ways and stop being mere refuse bins for the products of other people's thinking, which is what the speaker in this video is saying. Just listen to it. It's an excellent expose on why Africa is poor. You will hopefully now understand why I created this 6-part video series titled Repatriating to Africa, a 3-pronged strategy you can use to succeed. It calls attention to the need for Africans in Africa and those from diaspora to collaborate in order to reorientate and re-educate ourselves to become a more productive group of people.
They brought a school system which did not promote thinking, but promoted remembering for the sake of creating good employees who don't think but can remember. Okay?
Right.
So they brought a school system where you learnt useless things. Homo habilis. Who was Shaka's mother? What is the longest river in Africa? Tell me, what is the use of that rubbish? Okay? So you went into school and you were studying how many times Muslims pray per day.
Yeah.
You wake up at night to study how many times Muslims pray per day. So you memorize photosynthesis. You memorize how many teeth a dog has. You memorize everything. And at the end of the day, what did they produce? They produced someone who was a container of useless knowledge. A container of useless knowledge. That is why today we have doctors who have been independent for 55 years. Have you heard that there are vaccines being made by Zambian doctors? So you walk out of medical school as someone who knows when to give Panadol, how to take temperature. You are a doctor who is a Panadol distributor. And it's not your fault, the education system. Okay? You have professors in this country, in the School of Forestry at Copperbelt University. We have lived with Mukula tree since God created the world. All they know is how to label the parts of the tree. They don't know the value of the tree. Okay? So when this mission succeeded, then they came to set up industries. And when they set up industries, who was the laborer? The graduate from the School of Remembering. Someone who would remember how to dig, where to dig. Someone who would remember how to cut a tree and how many pieces. Someone would remember. And they rewarded you with a bribe called a salary, and we became comfortable. So when they come into Africa, what are they coming to do? They are coming to reap your resources, and you are a means of production. So this is what made Africa poor.